Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. Time for a big battle. I welcome you to the 15th of May 2024, Northern Australia near Darwin. You guys, the viewers, have been requesting this battle for about a year. What if China did a full naval attack on the north of Australia? And I've been basically ignoring you because I found it really hard to set up, but now we have the stuff in game to run this. So can Darwin defend itself from a full Chinese naval attack? Contents of the video: we're going to look at research, then roleplay, then basic geography, the details of the battle, and then the battle itself. First, research. Done for us by Combat Ineffective, thank you very much, and please check out his YouTube channel in the video description. First, Australian Air Force. Current inventory: F-35As, 60 of them with 12 on order. FA-18F Super Hornets, 24. EA-18G Growlers, 12. AWACS E-7 Wedgetails, 6. And tankers, 7. Weaponry: short range, 200 ASRAAMs in stock. Also, 1,250 early model AIM-9 Sidewinders and 47 new model Sidewinders AIM-9X. Medium and long range. This is where it gets a little bit controversial, but bear with me. AIM-120 AMRAAM. 360 missiles in stock of the C variant. Those are C5s and C7s. Australia was only approved for D models, the latest variant, in November of 2022. I've asked two guys who live in Australia now, and they are pretty sure that the D1 variants are now arriving in Australia, but with unknown quantities. Hence, I've put this mission back a year to May 2024, when they should have serious stocks of the D model. We're going to assume they have about 200 D1 models by then. Next, RAN. The Navy, consisting 3 destroyers, Hobart class, armed with 16 Standard Missile 2s and 32 ESSMs, Enhanced Sea Sparrow missiles, in VLSLs. Total 48 missiles and 1 Sea-Whiz. We don't have this in game, so I've made my own, but we'll check that out in a bit. Also, 8 Anzac class frigates. 32 cells ESSM and 20 cell Sea Scepter VLS. This is actually incorrect. I've checked it out myself. The New Zealand Anzacs have the Sea Scepters. The Australian ones only have the 32 ESSMs. There are notes down the bottom here that you may want to read as well. Also talking about Canberra class aircraft carriers, which are not suitable for today's mission. Next, suggested target. This is Darwin International. It's the closest airport to Darwin. It's pretty much in Darwin. It's a civilian airfield, but has facilities to be used for military use. Note 10 hardened air shelters here. Also, extra space for military aircraft. Combat Ineffective notes that we could use this for up to 20 military aircraft. Next, the port facilities at Darwin. One of the reasons Darwin is such a tactical hotspot and the reason it's being attacked today. We have the Australian Marine Barracks, the Navy Harbour, also the LCAC facilities. Next, the nearest actual military airbase and the only one within response distance is Tyndall Air Base. This is at Katherine, 176 nautical miles southeast of Darwin. The base can technically hold up to 38 aircraft, but again, we're going to be pushing the boundaries today. This will not be a target, but it will be where the majority of the Australian response will come from. And finally, the Chinese attack. Escort ships. Type 055 destroyers firing YJ-18 supersonic and YJ-21 hypersonic surface-to-surface missiles. Also, the Type 052D, a smaller ship, but with the same missiles. In terms of aircraft carrier, at this time of making this video, the most modern aircraft carrier they have in the service is the Type 002. But because we've pushed this a year back to allow the more modern missiles to arrive for Australia, it will also allow the Type 003 to come into service, which is coming into service at the beginning of next year. The Fujian, a superior carrier, which will carry just over 50 J-15s. So today they'll be using Fujian with 50 to 60 J-15 fighter bombers. And that's the research. Next, the roleplay. Whenever I do a battle like this, I have to do some sort of roleplay that makes sense. It doesn't have to be super realistic, but just explain what's going on. So China has a full-blooded carrier strike group passing 200 miles away from the north coast of Australia. They've cleared this with Australia under the guise of an exercise, but at the very last minute, at 200 miles away from Darwin, they've launched a surprise attack. However, Australia haven't fallen for the bait. They thought something might happen, and so they've mobilised the entire RAAF and RAN to protect Darwin. In real life, it's likely that other countries would come and protect Australia from the Chinese attack, but the whole idea of the surprise attack is that those other countries can't get involved in time. This is going to be a very fast attack. And finally, Darwin, as I've been told by some GR members that actually live in Darwin, is often used by other coalition forces like US Marine Corps, even the British, I think. But that is not full time, and obviously China has chosen a time at which there are no coalition forces in or near Darwin. So it's just the Australians defending today. Geography is super simple. I've modelled or drawn just 170 miles of the coast east and west of Darwin here. Obviously, we don't have a North Australian map yet. There is actually one in the works, but it could be years. I don't know when it's coming out. It's not mega accurate. It's plus or minus 10 miles, but that is near enough for today. We have the Tiwi Islands here, and 380 miles northwest, we have the edge of Timor-Leste. And on to battle details. Let's start with the Chinese. As I said before, they're 200 miles away from Darwin, launching the attack. The carrier strike group consists of 1 Fujian carrier, 4 Type 052D destroyers, and 2 Type 055 destroyer cruisers. We're using Jeffrey's latest box formation, spread 20 miles to 18 miles, with the cruisers out front. On board the carrier are 50 AI-controlled J-15 Bravo fighter-bomber aircraft. All AI will be set the same today at maximum skill level, firing at the maximum range of the missiles, as they're designed to be, and when they run out of long-range missiles, they will return to base, in this case the aircraft carrier. Armed with 8 PL-15s, and we'll look at the missiles in a bit more detail in a minute, and 4 Hob PL-10 for close range. They also have humans starting just behind the carrier with the same loadout. Humans may respawn infinitely today, AI get just 1 life, and this will be representing about the maximum complement of 60 aircraft on the carrier. In terms of what the Chinese are trying to achieve today, viewers, well, the Australians think the Chinese are going to attack the land around Darwin, the port facilities, the airfield and so on, but they're not. The Chinese are actually trying to lure the Australians into a bit of a trap, and they're actually going to attack their navy. They're going to try and destroy as many of the Australian ships as they can with their supersonic and hypersonic missiles. Once they've got rid of their navy, it's going to be much easier to do whatever the next stage of their plan is. And obviously, by the way, this is all fictional. Please don't demonetize me. We're just having a bit of fun. As well as that, they're going to try and shoot down as much as the Royal Australian Air Force as possible. Also, they have 2 KJ-600 AWACS airborne, and that is the Chinese attack for today. Next, Australian Air Force and Navy have all been scrambled and moved to Darwin in anticipation for the attack. First, the 3 Hobarts and Anzacs are here. We don't have these ships in-game, and I can't afford to model them properly. It takes CH weeks to do each ship. So I've done a pretty decent bodge of it. The 3 Hobart, which in real life can carry, I believe, 16 SM2 and 32 ESSM plus 1 Phalanx Seawiz, I've taken a Ticonderoga CMP, I've removed the SM6 missiles, I've removed the SM3 missiles, I've reduced the amount of SM2 missiles to 16, and I've reduced the amount of ESSMs from 64 to 32. So, apart from the way it looks, in terms of its fighting capability, it's pretty much a Hobart. 3 hybrid Hobarts, protecting in a layered defence up to 32 more nautical miles away from Darwin. Darwin's here, by the way, I should have said, and in terms of geography, if you know Australia, Gunpoint, Hotham and Dundee Beach. Next, the RAAF. First, the Super Hornets, FA-18F. Because Australia knows something's about to go down, or they think something's about to go down, they have 2 flights airborne, rocking a maximum complement of AIM-120 C7 missiles, fuel tank, and a couple of their AIM-9X. They are set to obviously defend Australia, fire at a maximum range. Additionally, once they run out of long-range missiles, they will return to Darwin International, rearm, take off and fight again, and refuel as well. 8 airborne. Also, carbon copies down here, the remainder of the 24 based at Darwin International. They will take off and do exactly the same thing. Fight RTB, and so on. Finally, our humans. I've made our humans the growlers. I've not got a working growler model, so I've used another Super Hornet. It's going to be close enough. Growlers are mainly used for anti-radiation, and they're used for area of effect jamming. There is no area of effect jamming in DCS, so they're completely superfluous. Also, there is no anti-radiation work to be done. So can they be converted at the last minute to be air-to-air, which is what they really need at the moment? My sources tell me yes. No one can figure out how many AMRAAMs a Growler can carry, so I've just gone for the best case scenario, and I've put 10 AMRAAMs on them, C7 variant. Theoretically, we think it's possible. They will be humans, they will be representing the 12 Growlers that the RAAF has. Next, 2 AWACS, they're using wedge tails, 1 here and 1 here. And finally, the meat of the RAAF is F-35As, the only 5th gen aircraft involved in today's battle. The only problem is they are hamstrung. The closest they can operate to Darwin is at Catherine, 176 miles away, and that's all modelled today, and it's going to be critical. Let's have a closer look at them. We have all 60 here modelled today. They've mobilised everything to the northern area. Set with their maximum complement, again, a bit of a controversial thing. They want to have internal stores only because they want to be in stealth configuration. In stealth configuration, they have a maximum radar cross-section of 0.005 meters squared, meaning that they can only be fired upon within 20 miles. This is critical if you watch Grim Reaper's set up battles. The other aircraft today will be fired on at over 100 miles. This can only be fired on at 20 miles, detected not much further out. So I've given them their maximum payload of 4 AIM-120Ds. Remember, this is 2024, so they should have their AIM-120D1s in service. Which brings on the next bit of controversy. We're not entirely sure whether these F-35As of Australia are going to be upgraded to Block 4, including the Sidekick mod, allowing them to have 6 internal missiles. In fact, we think they are, and from the evidence we see, they will be upgraded to Block 4, but not until after 2024. So in 2024, we expect them to have a maximum internal payload of 4 missiles still, and that's what we're going on here today. Now, the problem is they're starting 176 miles away from Darwin, and another 100 miles possibly away from the battle. So fuel is a problem. This is all modelled in-game, so we've had to give them big exterior fuel tanks. I've left their radar cross-section as super stealthy on the proviso that these tanks will be dropped when the aircraft enter the combat area. Now, I can't promise they'll do that because they're controlled by AI and I can't force them to do that. But we're going to go with the assumption that they will be dropped into combat. In terms of fuel consumption, again, and this is a really important point, I can't just take them off here from the fictitious Catherine and send them straight into battle. If they do that, they will realise that there are bad guys here and afterburn maximum speed all the way across to Darwin. There is no fast fighter in the world that can stick on afterburner for 100 or 200 miles. They will run out of fuel and exit from the fight. So I've set them specific orders to do the 170 odd miles at mil power, 500 to 600 knots. Fairly slow in the scheme of a scramble situation, but it's the best I can do until they get to waypoint 2. I then will unleash them and set their ROE to weapons 3. They can then fight and use their afterburner. It's going to be frustrating waiting for them to do that nearly 200 miles at a slow speed, but it's the only way I can get them to the target area without running out of fuel. And this is one of the cool things about setting up these 1-to-1 scale battles. Fuel has to be considered and mobilization times that come with that. They won't actually be taken off from a base because it's technically actually in the middle of the sea, but they will be spawning in at low altitude and low speed at a rate of 1 aircraft every 35 seconds, which we assume is the absolute best they could scramble at. Guys, that is it. We have a full carrier strike group from China, the best they can mobilize at the moment, and all of the large attack ships from Australia and their entire predicted air force in 2024. we need to make some predictions. I've run isolated bits through to debug it and make sure everything works. And fingers crossed, everything should perform. But what I've not done is see who actually wins the battle. And to be honest, I'm not even sure how we quantify a win. I suspect we'll just have to run it through and then decide if it was a win or a loss for each side. But can we make some predictions, please, for fun?
It's not about winning or losing. It's about the friends we made along the way.
There'll be no friends made here today. Sock, next.
I find it hard to believe that China won't win.
Yeah, they've got big missiles. Next.
Hopefully the stealth fighters will be able to evade the Chinese Air Force and then take them out before they get seen.
Well, we all know how good 5th Gen works in DCS, in the Grim Reaper setup. They work extremely well. It's going to be more a case of, can they get there in time? Will they have enough fuel to actually do something worthy once they get to the coast?
I think the effectiveness of the anti-ship missiles from China will be the deciding factor because Australian ships have their air-to-air, SAM sites on them.
Oh, there's one point I've forgotten, viewers. You're saying, where's the Patriot sites? Where's the S-400s defending Darwin? They don't have them. I've checked it out. All they have in Australia at the moment is SHORAD, as in 5 miles max, which is no use at all. They have been approved for NASAMS. They've been approved for latest Patriot, but they haven't been delivered and probably won't be for 2024. So, no SAMs. They are reliant on the Anzacs and the Hobarts. Guys, stand by for what should be a super battle. Welcome in, viewers. Today's blue Australians are Poosh, John Cock, whoever that is, Bird. Today's Chinese are Sock, Cannonball and Brandon. One quick thing I forgot, viewers, is today's missiles. We, or CH, spends a lot of time building on missiles, and it would be remiss of me not to say them. So the Chinese are using their PL-15, range of about 120 miles. It's heavy but good. The Americans are using the AIM-120C7 here with a range of about 60 miles. That's a bit shy of what they can do, but it's still pretty terrible. An AIM-120D1 on the stealths at a range of about 86 nautical miles. We're set and ready to go. Drop, please, and pause the server. Here we go, guys. Right, let's try and look at what's going on. Let's try and look at as many units as we can before stuff starts blowing up. First, we have China's new zero... Oh, Jesus, that was quick. Already a heffing great... Oh, hypersonics are in the air already. That's YJ-21. Hypersonic missile, Mach 8, I think, capable. Wow. Oh, and YJ-18s. Look at this, viewers. They're going for a massive early barrage. Also, note how I use realistic carrier formations now rather than the kind of comedy ones. Look at how many there are, which is cool, but also kind of crap because it looks terrible because you can't see anything anymore. But realism is what you want, viewers. Realism is what you get. The J-15s are starting to take off. 50 AI variants. Over here, we have our humans taking off. These are FA-18Fs pretending to be Growlers stripped down for air-to-air combat. Good luck, boys. You will almost certainly need it. Here we have the Elephant Walk of FA-18Fs, viewers. Zooming out, the YJ... Okay, SM2s are up. Ignore the MR suffix on the end. It's just a little bug we keep forgetting to fix. They are going to be shooting at the YJ-21s incoming. Ships today, you've got the Hobart today, played by that guy, but modified to be a Hobart. And you've got the Anzacs, played by these guys, but modified to be Anzacs. ESSM's out. That is an ESSM. So much going to happen so freaking quickly. Is this SM2 going to hit this YJ-21? Well, I'm not entirely sure. No, it's missed. Look, it's missed. They couldn't get the trajectory right. SM2s have failed. They're all tech, and YJ-21s, oh, maybe not. We've got a hit. But these are now getting through, and these carry a huge payload. Here it comes down. In real life, it will drop straight down onto the ship. In DCS, we do not have that functionality. They will hit from the side. Lots of cancelled ESSMs. Could we have an early knockout? No, we can't. ESSMs are doing the job. If we look at the top right of the screen, we'll see how many stuff's been fired. 66 anti-ship missiles fired and 74 SAMs in response from RAN. More YJ-21s coming in. They've got their speed. They're Mach 4 at this point. We'll hit this ship about Mach 3. RAN's doing a great job defending herself. ESSM coming in, doing its job, and that's why you pay the big bucks, viewers. Interception of missiles. Bang! First barrage of YJ-21s destroyed. Now, don't worry, viewers. This carrier group carries a lot of anti-ship missiles, probably 200. So, it's going to be more of a war of attrition by the looks of things. Let's see this SM2. Note how the Anzacs are firing to protect their other Anzacs over here. SM2, how's well is this going to do? Oh, SM2 got a kill. Huh. I'll take it. This one's got through. Uh-oh. The first hypersonic's got through. It's slowing down now. No longer hypersonic, but it is very dangerous. Let's going for these Anzac over here. We shouldn't have chosen one at the back because now it's going to get intercepted. Yeah, it's going to get intercepted. Look. First batch of anti-ship missiles dealt with. Let's have a look at John Cock. Hello, John Cock!
Hi, mate.
You're looking very handsome today.
I've got an early radar lock on John Cock.
You have, haven't you? He's got a giant... Insert word here. Cannot swear because of baby. Right, let's have a look at the Chinese today, viewers. They've got lots of Chinese guys. This one is damn Sock. Give us a wing wiggle, Sock. We're so proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, a Sockington reminder to all humans, you may respawn as many times as you see fit, and you can do whatever you want. You want to go and shoot a AWACS down, shoot the AWACS down. You want to go and shoot the ships, shoot the ships. My suggestion is to just do a thing. Today's Type 03 Fujian, played by USS Forrestal, actually. Let's do the closest analog we can get for it in-game. In terms of launch rate or predicted launch rates and stuff like that. It doesn't have the same defenses, but the defenses don't matter anyway because they're being done by the escort ships. Hannibal's going out here. Brandon's going out here. I should say the humans cannot see what we see here. They can only see what their data link sees, so they'll only have a partial picture. We've also, don't forget, got these AI Super Hornets that are now charging into battle from the Australian coast. Oh god, what about the F-35? The F-35, the first lot are airborne and taking it off, but they're not going to afterburn. They cannot afford it. They don't have the fuel. They'll be flying conservatively till the battle. So it's all about, can the Super Hornets and the ships hold off until those F-35s get in. Now here's the next problem. These missiles are very dangerous. They're supersonic rather than hypersonic, but they go low. And that makes them hard to intercept. They fly slightly different in real life to how they fly here. They cruise slow in real life and then speed up at the end. But we can't do that, so we have them sped up for the whole thing. It doesn't really make much difference, to be honest. They are being intercepted. Those ESSMs and the radars on those modern ships are very potent. Whoops. Oh, look at that. SAMs. That's the SAM that went up there. The SAMs from the Chinese are HHQ-9 Bravos. These things here, incredibly potent SAMs, one of the best SAMs in the world, if you believe some sources. Roughly in line with America's SM-6 missile, which is, again, one of the best SAMs in the world. No ships hit so far. You will see, in fact, let's have a look at numbers. China have fired 81 anti-ship missiles and 37 SAMs. This is why the scoreboard's so useful, viewers. There's no way I can show you all this stuff happening at the same time. Australia has fired 214 SAMs and 1 beyond visual range air-to-air missile. And I can't see where that is, but it's there somewhere. Distance between aircraft fronts, 90 miles. And I'm surprised there's no PL-15s. And just as I say that, a PL-15 comes out. If you believe Chinese propaganda, is an exceptionally good missile. And America is currently playing catch-up with their AIM-120D3 and or AIM-260 JTAM.
Oh, now we've lost a ship.
You've lost a oh, I'm not going to even bother. They have. Oh my god. They really have. I was not... The Hobarts have gone down. Well, Hobart has been hit. I was not expecting that, viewers, so soon. 1 Hobart down. Ignore the price of the Hobart. It's got the price of the Tycho CMP in there. But it has got the weapons, correct weapons. So it's essentially near enough today the correct ship. Strangely enough, viewers, that never actually happened in practice. So this is actually going to go differently to... Running mass multiplayer viewer always ends up differently to single player. So I'm going to be as surprised as you. It's going to get shot. It's going to get hit. An Anzac. We've lost an Anzac. That's an Anzac down. Oh dear. This is highly embarrassing, viewers. They've shot 250 SAMs. That's why. They've shot all their freaking SAMs. No, there's more coming out. ESSMs. Wow, look at that. RAN is going to be possibly smashed here in the first few minutes. And we're only 8 minutes in, Viewingtons. Yep, it's working slightly different on multiplayer to how it is in single player, and they are getting through. No, maybe not, and the ESSM's can hit it. Bang! Wowee! Interesting stuff, Viewingtons. The air-to-air battle is now very much underway. Look at all these PL-15s being chucked in by the AI. Super long-range air-to-air missiles, 20 of them fired so far. 93 anti-ship missiles, 88 SAMs, 254 Australians. Another, yep, okay, 2 ships down. 2 RAN ships down. How are the F-35s doing? They've travelled a distance at 600 knots of 50 nautical miles. We need them here quicker. More YG-18s going in. These ones are out of ammo. They're out of ESSM. They will fire guns, but they probably have no effect. Missiles so fast and so low. Yep, they're out of ESSMs. Second Anzac down. We've got boys here firing AIM-120C7s into the mix. AIM-120C7s is not a very good weapon. It's an early 2000s weapon. Nearly 20 years old, and it does not cope with the super long-range missiles very well, as you can see. Literally got half the effective range if fired from 40,000 feet. And they're now getting smashed with 2 FA-18s down. Because what's most important is the damage to the RAN at the moment. I suspect these Hobards are out of ammo. That's why they've got hit. They blasted their 48 missiles out quickly, and that was it. And they seem to be doing it efficiently. They didn't seem to be firing particularly inefficiently, but it just wasn't enough. Look at this Super Hornet trying to run away from this PL-15. Can he do it? Super Hornet, not the most kinematically best plane in the world. Better if it was a Tomcat. Yep, a Tomcat would have escaped that, viewers. Oh, look at that! Just by the skin of his freaking teeth. Well done, RAAF plane. How do you pronounce RAAF? RAAF? I'm going for RAAF. Look at this, HQ-9. Now, these are really nasty weapons, like the SM-6 has a range of about 130 miles. You get a really potent piece of kit. PL-15 tracking onto a Super Bockington. Yeah, I said it, Super Bockington. And it's failed to track, or it's failed to hit.
Well, my missiles can't keep up with their...
Yep, you have missiles with half the range of the Chinese.
I'll try to shoot down their ship missiles, and my AMRAAMs can't keep up.
Oh, you're trying to shoot down the YJT. Whoa, that's a thing. They are... You're doing a good job there, Poosh, but I see. He's trying to shoot down these missiles, look. But they're so fast. Now, in real life, as I said, they would cruise actually subsonic, viewers, or about Mach 1. But we can't model that. We can only model it at one set speed. Oh, dear. Poor old RAN. Good interception. Oh, another... Hobart's gone down, 2 Hobarts down, and 1 probably defenseless and immobile. And the next wave of YJ-18s coming in. It's hard to know what to watch now, viewers. Most of the information you will garner from the scoreboard now. Oof. A whole bunch of your Super Bogs gone. 5 down, probably best watch. Oh, and the last Hobart's down. All 3 Hobarts are down now, just saturated by hypersonic and supersonic missiles. There's only so good a job they can do defending. That said, the ESSMs have been excellent today, and it appears are a worthy purchase from Break America? Must be America. Bunch of Anzacs still going. Small ships, but anything with an ESSM is pretty potent. HQ-9 Bravo made it all the way out here, look. 100 nautical miles away, but it is now very much out of legs. And falling out of the sky. The battlefront, there is a no man's land, as there usually is in these battles of about 50 nautical miles. At the front is Super Hornet. YJ-18 may have got through. It takes just 1 missile, YJ-18 or 21, to sink one of these ships. Such big warheads, they'll pretty much snap the ship in half, especially a YJ-21. Oh, good dodge, sir. Haven't watched much of the air war today, but so far it's really been about the anti-ship. John Cock's doing a thing. John Cock is flying in formation with supersonic. Yeah, look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's John Cock. Let's try and watch this missile. It's just not as fast as the A120D, or can't accelerate as quick. And same problem, it's being, look, the missile's been outrun, or is it? No, it's catching up. The missile's catching up the YJ-18, but it's not catching up fast enough. Yeah, I see the problem, guys. ESSM is a very powerful missile, guys. It's like over Mark 4. And it's doing a very good job of taking it out of the YJ-18. So you can see, pang! Let's have a look more at the air war. Another, no, he dodged. 11 Super Bogs down to 2 J-15 shot down. To be honest, pretty happy just to shoot 2 J-15s down. RAN has now fired 304 SAMs to China's 187 SAMs. Here is a Legacy A120C7. Managed to get a lock on a Chinese person. And the lock has failed. It got, you know what happened there, viewers? It's got, the seeker head can only look so far left and right and up and down, and it put it out of limits and stopped tracking. It's a real thing that happens to real missiles, unfortunately. Oof, dodge. 14 Super Hornets down. Let's look at some more missiles. Look at that. That there is our version of Darwin. That's the Port Darwin there. Check on the F-30. The all-important cavalry have travelled 104 nautical miles now. They're still cruising at an airspeed of 310 knots, ground speed 600 knots. Not long now before they can drop their tanks, turn on their burners, and become actual fighters. Sock and Brandon are now pushing right next to Darwin. There's not much Darwin can do to defend it. I think they're all out of SAMs now with the missiles. There are only 5 Anzacs left, and that's it. That's all that's now defending Darwin. Human on human action here? No, it's not human on human. Human on AI action here. Brandon's firing PL-15s. So far, air-to-air weapons, 92 missiles fired by China. Only 13 fired by RAAF. And that's because with half the range, they just don't get a chance to even get in firing parameters. It shows the importance of having the best long-range missile. Another RAAF super bogged down. Not long before Super Hornets get to Darwin and they can start fighting, and boy do they need it. Oh, a Chinese man just went down. Yeah, Chinese man went down by a Legacy C7. Well done. Reminder, you can respawn as humans, guys. It's highly unlikely that any humans will get any kills in these battles of such ferocity. It's almost impossible for a human to be effective, but it can be interesting. Sock's got a C7 after him now.
I've got 2 kills.
I take that back, ladies and gentlemen. And I give you Cannibal, apparently. Good notch from Sock, it worked. This guy, not so much. Bang, another Chinese person down. 5 Chinese people down. 21 RAAF down, 6 ships down. Anzacs still hanging in there by the skin of their freaking teeth. Look at these Legacy PL-15s just hovering above the harbour. But there's the remainder of the Anzacs. This is the problem, they just keep coming. If the first batch of 20 or so YG-18s are shot down, they just send another 20 out. The magazine quantities are all model viewers, missile for missile. That they do have that many in real life. Just a few F-18s left, and these guys have been pushed down to the ground where they're ineffective because they've got these big missiles chasing after them. It's simply Super Bog with Legacy 2000's weapon is no match for Chinese J-15 with 2020's weapons, I'm afraid. Sock and Cannibal coming around the flank. Poosh being brave in adversity. There are now only 3 Hornets airborne, actually 4, and this guy is out of fuel. He's pushed himself to the limit. He never even got a shot, you see? He never got parameters to fire because he was always being pushed down like this guy is by the big missiles. The question is, have they done enough to let the Raptors or the Lightnings get in? Yes, they have. Just as I speak, the Lightnings are firing the AIM-120D1s. These are better missiles, as they should have in 2024. They've not dropped their fuel tanks as I asked them to, but I can't force them to. We'll have to pretend they've dropped their fuel tanks, and their RCS will be modelled as if they have dropped their fuel tanks. So the Chinese will only be able to see them at about 20 miles at best conditions. A whole bunch more ESSMs going out. Let's see if we can watch what's going on here. China are going for the last Anzacs. They take the Navy out. It almost leaves Darwin open for a re-attack. Reminder that all aircraft today, once they fire their long-range missiles, will RTB. So they will not just throw themselves into combat. Another Anzac down. 4 Anzacs left. Just not enough defense left. Too many missiles used. Too many missiles being fired at them. All Super Hornets have been wiped out apart from 1. Oh dear, and he's about to get a PL-15 in the face. Or is he? He's not. Missile died. Well done. Right, now here comes the American, not the American, here comes the American-made response of the A120D1s from the F-35s. And the Chinese have now got something that fires back. Enter Lightnings. This is very hard for the Chinese to deal with. They sort of get an idea where these guys are because they get glimpses of their radiation from their radars and stuff, so they can sort of triangulate where they are, but they can't fire at them. So they'll know there's Lightnings here, but until they get within 20 miles and their radar starts to pick them up, they're just going to run into a wall of A120Ds. There are now 6 J-15s down, and it's going to get worse for China. Just in time have the guys from Catherine got there. And they'll keep coming, but there's 60 of them, and RAAF are going to throw everything at them. Look at this guy. He still won't give a position away, but he is 100% doing a thing, and it's all he can really do, because he can't do a stand-up fight against that kind of tech. Smash, another J-15 down. AIM-120D coming into his own, viewers. Another good...
Just lost an E2.
Oh, we just lost a E2 playing a wedge tail, leaving 1 wedge tail left. Luckily, it's a bit further here and protected by the F-35s. So you should retain...
Dodge an M120.
Well done, Sockington. Yep, I see that. We've dodged a lot of missiles today, actually. Sock.
I found a pattern that likes to do these ones.
Alright. I suggest using it. One thing I was going to point out, viewers, is that these front J-15s have used a lot of their fuel. 9 J-15s down. F-35's mopping up. They've used a lot of fuel. They've pretty much burnt 100 miles, and that's pretty much all of their fuel used up. So they've become much easier targets once their fuel is down. Technically, they actually become harder targets, become more lightweight, but they can't use their afterburner as much, so they'll become generally kinematically less useful. Oh, look, I won't give their positions away, but someone spotted someone. That's going to be a cool fight. Lightnings have found another guy. Chinese really starting to lose it now. 10 Chinese down and a whole new battery of AIM-120s. Only slight problem is we've got longevity problems, endurance problems with the F-35s viewers. They're carrying the maximum stealth complement of 4 missiles, which means they'll fire their 4 missiles and then have to go to Darwin to refuel and rearm, which takes literally time. Although the effect they're having on the battlefield is huge. They've pushed the Chinese back. Apart from Sock, who appears to be invincible, they've pushed the Chinese back from Darwin, nearly 50 miles. Look, they've even fired at this guy here. The beauty of 5th Gen viewers, note how well it changes the battle if modelled properly, which we think we've got it about right. Good dodge from cannonball, maybe. Probably, yep, it's dead missile. But this guy's got something coming toward him, and I don't think he's spotted it, viewers. He's... Look at... No, it reacquired! Phew, we had an A120D reacquiring. A Sock's getting one in the chops! Take it, Sock.
Yeah, I'm dead. That was pilot kill.
You dodged enough. Oh, we lost a Lightning. We lost 2 Lightnings. They somehow let a J-15 get close to them within 20 miles, and they're just as vulnerable as any aircraft within 20 miles. Now, that's a thing. That's a them problem. But you know what? They're trying to save their motherland, so they're allowed to do it. Another one's about to get hit, viewers, from behind. They're not that stealthy. There's this dead man. 3 stealth fighter aircraft down, and that one has run out and is going back to Darwin to refuel. But look at what they've done, though. The effect of that first flight of 5th Gen aircraft have destroyed the frontal ranks of the J-15s. Who survived it are these guys who are now RTB and going back to their carrier. So I'd say they've got here just in the nick of time. The whole RAN is wiped out. All 8 Anzacs and 3 Hobarts are all wiped out, viewers, by 112 hypersonic and supersonic anti-ship missiles. That's what you need to destroy Australia's Navy, apparently. Let's have a look at some more stats. China have lost 15 J-15s. They've got plenty left, though, and they're still taking off. It takes a long time to get 50 aircraft airborne. 106 PL-15s, 112 anti-ship missiles YG-21, YG-18, 195 HHQ-9 Bravo SAMs. The RAAF have lost 28 aircraft, 1 Wedgetail, 25 FA-18s, almost all of them that they have. 2 F-35s, or I'm pretty sure it's 3. No, it's only 2. 3 Hobarts, 8 Anzacs. They fired only 49 air-to-air missiles, viewers. They just haven't had the opportunity to fire back. And 325 SAMs, which is pretty much all of the SAMs that they had in those ships. American equivalent taxpayer cost of $31 billion. Right, there's F-35s now, and all of these will run out of fuel and or weapons. Probably weapons. And then they go, look, this F-35 landed. Already 1 F-35 landed. He will annoyingly do stupid milsim taxi to the apron and get loaded up, which will take a while before he can get back out. A120D chasing this J-15s down. Oh, it's a jolly good battle so far. I hope you're enjoying it, viewers. Sometimes you set one up and it just works beautifully. Other times, not so much. Reacquisition. Great to see the D1s reacquiring like the PL-15s, viewers. The way these missiles work is always changing. We change them in the background based on the results of WarGames, but also core game that actually controls these missiles is always changing in multiplayer and single player. So you will see the performance of these missiles always changing. J-15 getting dangerously close to this F-35, but I presume this yeah, he's out of ammo or out of something. And he's even dropped his fuel tanks, look. One complaint I have about gamers is that when they do RTB and go home, they really take their sweet time about it and make themselves a massive target. Look, he could just turn around, split S and go back. Instead, he does this weird milsim thing where he just flies like an idiot, making himself a large target. Now, the sky is now filled with A120Ds. The tide of the battle is turning, Viewingtons. Now, they need to give China a bloody nose to make sure they don't come back in a second wave. One good thing is that China only has 50 naval aircraft, well, a little bit more, maybe 60 J-15s. So they destroy this, they destroy their chances of invading, basically.
If I had my way over the fleet of aircraft right now, I would pull the Chinese aircraft back, form a defensive ring, and make the F-35s come out to us.
That's a great thing said by that. Unfortunately, we cannot control. We control ships, viewers, AI ships. We cannot control AI aircraft. I can technically go and give them orders, but they will not follow it. Once they're in battle, that's it. They will never listen to me again. So one day we may have like a Zeus spot like we do in Armour, and we can start moving them around and ask them to do things. That's when we give SOC, the battle commander's position, and we allow him to start moving the units around. That will bring even more interesting dynamics in. But thus far, not POS. Technically, there is sort of a way of doing it with Lua scripting, but it's beyond confusing, and I could never do it.
If we give Sock all this stuff, he'll just go after John Cock.
He will abuse it power. Sock will abuse power, but as we all know, Sock is either brilliant or terrible.
I go absolutely mad for Cock.
There we go. And Sock, he doesn't lie. He won't lie. Oh, good hit. Like Sock says, those J-15s are just blowing up. My battle cruisers are blowing up, and I don't know why. Because those stealth planes are firing, and the first time they know something's happening is when that missile goes active 5 miles away, and then he's got 3 seconds to maneuver before he blows up. The power of modern AIM-120Ds coupled with stealth fighters, viewers. Look at this guy. He's somehow got really close. Really close. Some would argue too close. Big numbers on the scoreboard, viewers. Great to see the scoreboard doing its job. Makes these battles more watchable because otherwise you have no idea what's going on.
Oh, someone's found me.
Where is Bert? Oh, look at that! Human versus human. In all the midst of all the weird AI predictiveness, you have humans doing humans things. Now, can Bird be smart with this? I don't know. I think he is. He's outrun the friggin' missile. Ladies and gentlemen, Bird! Now, can Brandon catch up? Which aircraft is most kinematically good? Probably the J-15, to be honest. I really don't know. They're about even. This has a high top speed at high level, but down here, they're both about the same, about Mark 1.1.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I could not get a lock on Bird.
Because I've been skimming the ocean, baby.
There he is. Yep, that is modelled. If you go really, really, really low, it's almost impossible to lock up outside of about 10 miles, and that's what he's doing. He's about 5 feet off the ocean. Brandon's radar signals are bouncing in on the waves, and can't quite get that plane. Bird has a HQ, but he's outrun the HQ. I don't know what he's trying to do, but whatever he's doing it incredibly sexy, viewers.
Trying to take out their eyes.
There we go. Oh, yes, eyes. And it's the thing, viewers, if you take out AWACS in modern Grim Reaper's battles, that's it. That's them defeated, basically, because the missiles all rely on that data link technology, as we would expect them to do in real life in 2020s, viewers. More J-15s running into walls of F-35s, 26 of them down now. Which I'm not going to lie is kind of satisfying to watch. Cannibal, you still on your first life?
Yep.
How?
No, I'm going to run out of gas.
Well, yeah. Oh, look, there's a huge... Oh, I can't really give it away, but that thing has chased him down, viewers. The only slightly thing is, he's only got AIM-120C missiles, which are neon useless. See how that develops. Lots of human-on-human action going on here, viewingtons. Oh, that PL-15 went right past Bird's canopy. The J-15 has caught up to 8 miles. Dismissal may be effective, viewers. The Grim Reaper's missiles, although very effective at 40,000 feet, only have a range of about 10, maybe 15 miles down low, as you would expect to see in real life. Modern missiles have great...
oh, no.
Uh-oh. Go up to blow up, as they say, viewing.
Yeah, I was out of fuel. I didn't have enough fuel to do the burn.
Well, you know what you did? You only wasted 1 growler, which is crappy old tech, versus, and you managed to tie up a whole load of Chinese resources, J-15s, HQBs, radars, AWACS, attention. So I'll give you some kudos points. Now we've got more human-on-human action here, closing within that distance you see there, viewers. I'm not going to tell them because they might not be able to see it. This guy might be too far away from the AWACS. They might not be able to see it themselves. Heavens, wouldn't want to cheat, viewers. Don't know what happened there. Thing appears to have happened. Chinese are putting up a really good fight, even against the stealths we've had. Oh no, only 2 F-35 shot down. Finally, Cannibal's been taken down. It took... Huh, he's still going.
No, pilot snipe.
Hey, one and push, trapped the sucker down. It was well within wedge tail range. You could see him using the data link. Here's his body is still flying on.
I was long out of PL-15, so not much I could do.
Roger, you made a great death sequence, which is one of my favourite things in the world, guys. Look at that. Oh, one of the best.
Gonna land it.
I need some music.
Like a helicopter.
I need some Strauss playing in the background here. And demonetized because of Strauss. Right, we move on. We've got a very unlikely merge between a J-15 who's got above the Lightnings, and they haven't seen him. And he's going to go dogfight them. Ladies and gentlemen, AI weirdness. I can't remember whether I've given the A model a gun or not in game. I guess we're about to find out. I suspect I haven't.
A model? Should have one on.
Yeah, but I'm stupid.
Cap!
Well, they can scare them away with harsh language.
Go away, you nasty bugger.
34 Chinese people down. Now here's one thing, viewers. How much difference would it have been if the F-35s were at Darwin International instead of Catherine? And I've been told they only have their support at Catherine.
What about if the F-18s were anti-ship from the start?
Well, I did think about that. And viewers, in terms of anti-ship, the RAN vessels all have anti-ship harpoons. But the problem is, harpoons are terrible. They're friggin' 1990s tech. Even the modern ones are pretty crap. And they don't have the range to get 200 miles to the Chinese before they get shot down by the HHQ-9B. So I did actually try having some AGM-84G modern ones.
The Deltas, or
no,
I thought they had the JASMs now.
No. Really? No, I've not read anything about them having JASM.
I thought
Really?
they had JASMs.
Then my face is a little bit red. Viewers. I didn't realise Australia had JASMs. Let me know if that's... No, hang on. Do you mean LARASM or JASM? Because JASM is not anti-ship.
Sorry, LARASM. Yep, you're right.
Let me know about that, viewers. I've seen nothing of that, but I may have got that wrong. In which case, it would... In which case, it would be a completely different battle. Roger, whoever you are, Sockington, Wockington. And if they do, viewers, let me know how many they actually have, and we can rerun it. Probably rerun it when we get the proper map, so we can have some pretty terrain. You know my thoughts on pretty terrain.
Notice that the the Australian side doesn't have any more AWACS up.
They do. It's quite far back, Sock. I put it quite far back near Catherine. It's operating off Catherine. All right, well, let's push on for a bit, viewers. We're 35 minutes in. I did tell you it would be quite a quick battle. That's pretty quick for us. Look at all these F-35s landing. Probably 20 F-35s now landing. They'll go here. They'll turn their engines off. They'll put the canopies up. And then they will be re-equipped, rearmed, and they'll go out and do it all again. Isn't that cool? A game can do that, viewers. Oh, the last of the AI. Yes, these have landed, look, viewers. All 50 AI aircraft have now taken off. They won't rearm and come back up again. That's not possible in game at the moment from a naval asset. So here is the last of the 50 AI. And the F-35s just keep coming. I mean, there's 60 of them. That's all of them we've got there. Would they commit their entire raft to this? Probably not, but I wanted to do that. So I did it.
Rawenge.
And much Rawenge. It's really been a battle of two sides so far, viewers. Here's the thing, an important point. Even if you're right, Bird, and they do have LARASMs, they wouldn't have got their aircraft airborne in time to get the LARASMs on target before the surprise attack had sort of happened, if you know what I mean. The hypersonic missiles would have come in and still wiped out the Anzacs and the Hobarts. Possibly would have saved a lot of their air force, though. So the RAN would have still been destroyed, but the air force may have survived a lot better. Oh, it's hard to compute. Why did the Air Force need to sacrifice themselves, viewers? Because otherwise, the J-15s would have come in and used their air-to-ground weapons to bomb Darwin. Big air war going on. 37 J-15s shot down. 38 shot down. And much more coming. Good dodge. J-15s, as you all know, perform very admirably in game, viewers. Possibly slightly better than they should. I don't really know. All I can do is set the numbers up, and the numbers, as it stands, are fair. Good notch, Sock. Went right above your face. So Sock's mastering the art of dodging the Grim Reaper's missile. They have slightly different radars in the Grim Reaper's missile to the core game ones, viewers. So the ways of evading them, beating them are slightly different. That's the thing. Wow, Bird! Talk about wrong friggin' place, wrong time. That just dropped down from space on you. Almost all of the 44 Chinese down. The last ones are being mopped up by the F-35s, guys. These F-35s, look, viewers, all RTB. They can only land at a certain rate, unfortunately. One thing that's always interested me, viewers, in a life or death situation like this, and this is one problem that really annoys me with the game, is how much would they really stick to ATC protocols? You know, because what happens is they taxi like really slowly on the longest possible route, even if there's like a 1 knot headwind or something. And that causes huge tactical deficiencies. Because in real life, surely, they would just get the plane on the dang runway and damn well hit the burners. Oh, the thing's happening. Look, viewers, it's about to crash into its own F-35. No, it's not. The good fellas at Lockheed, or whoever builds them, Boeing, saw fit to give them good breaks. There's my humans taking off on the other runway. You must never mix human and AI on the same runway. It never ends well. Good ending scene there, whoever you are.
I like to look good when I die.
I agree. Bang! Another J-15 down. Sock's still surviving somehow, but he can't survive for long because he's surrounded by F-35s. You said you managed to kill an F-35, Sock. How on earth did you manage that? You can't even see them. I get the feeling Sock's busy, viewers. Yes, I can confirm he's very busy. I can confirm he's very busy. Pull that G! He dodged it kinematically, viewers! He dodged an A120D with good kinematics. Kinematically. Ladies and gentlemen, Sock. When are the frigging Sock Top Gun school opening? Don't worry, because as soon as he does that, another one, and he will get beaten because he will run out of airspeed. He's run out of airspeed. You can only dodge one, viewers. Yeah, and then he's out of airspeed. Don't respawn. We're pretty much out of men. Right, viewers, so with all of what we've got in, I've modelled it as best we can, explained everything along the way. The Chinese carrier strike group fired 112 supersonic anti-ship and hypersonic missiles into the RAN and destroyed all 8 Anzacs and 3 Hobarts, which were all modelled as best we could with the right weapons and stuff like that. The radar may have not been quite right, but you know what? I think it's near enough for a modern radar. They were just beaten, saturated. That's it. Then the RAAF 4th gen got smashed, as they probably would do in real life, operating Super Hornets with old 2000s AIM-120C missiles, got smashed by the modern J-15Bs with their PL-15s, and only shot down a few. But then, about 20 minutes in, the Lightnings got in and started obviously pushing the J-15s back. Only 4 Lightnings died today, which I would say is probably realistic. It's unlikely all would survive because, you know, someone somewhere makes an error. They always do. And shot down 46 J-15s and and a few have made it back, as you can see. A few have made it back. As to who won, well, Australia's lost their entire deep water navy, but they've also smashed China's naval air wing. So I'm not sure how useful China's navy is now without their air wing. I don't know. I really need someone smarter than me to conclude who's won this.
I would say China won the battle, but they may lose the war now, because you're right. All those ships are now pretty much empty with weapons.
Yeah, they are.
Their fighters are all gone.
Yeah,
hopefully the 5th Fleet is on its way to help Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
7th Fleet, isn't it? Or is it 5th? It was 7th up here.
Which one? The one in the
7th.
Pacific.
A 7th.
I
Yeah.
guess
The 7th.
7th
Hopefully the 7th Fleet's on its way to help us.
Don't forget New Zealand.
And,
Yeah, New Zealand.
And you got the New Zealanders.
Isn't it interesting that all of these countries around here that we've tested so far have just enough of an Air Force and Navy to try to hold on long enough for the Americans to save
You're
their
right.
ass?
I noticed that. Taiwan, exactly the same. Just hold out until the 7th Fleet get here. Australia, just hold out until the 7th Fleet get here. New Zealand, just hold out until the 7th Fleet got here. There's stuff. I can't talk about it. Simmers maybe promises. Yeah, anyway, carry on.
National defense of all of these sovereign nations is completely dependent on being saved by the Americans.
We're the same in Britain. We used to have the biggest navy in the world, obviously a long time ago. Now our navy is based on just holding enough until the whatever 7th Fleet, whatever fleet gets in, because it turns out navies are quite expensive.
Well, going with that, I'd say if the Americans want to jump in and get into a war, I'm sure all these countries are glad to let them do that.
Mm-hmm.
If the Australians do have LORASM support, which I thought they did, it'd be a different. I wonder how that turnout would have been. But yeah, well, that'll be for another day.
We'll be in for another day. Yeah, I wanted to revisit this at some point anyway, viewers, when we get the proper terrain, because then we'll have proper graphics to look at, but we don't have that yet. Guys, it may have been a bit frustrating for you humans, but these battles are sometimes, because they're actually fairly realistic, and it's not very fun fighting in these big battles in real life, I'd imagine. But I thought it was a brilliant simulation. I'm really happy it worked out. Kudos to China and Australia, and see you later.